Words of our Divine Mother from the book The Mother, Volume 11, Notes on the Way from the Collective Works of our Divine Mother, page 64, date 24th May 1967. Topic: Defining the Divine. Our Divine Mother says, yesterday someone wrote to me asking, after all, what is the divine? I answered. I told him that I was giving a reply to help him, but there could be 100 which would all be good, one as good as another. And then the Divine Mother says, the divine is lived but cannot be defined. And then I added, but as you put to me the question, I answer, the divine is the absolute of perfection, eternal source of all that exists, of whom we become conscious progressively, all the while being himself from all eternity. Once someone told me also that it was for him something simply unthinkable. So I answered him, no, that does not help you. You have only to think that the divine is all, at the maximum, yes, all that we want to become in our highest, most luminous aspiration. All that we want to become, that is the divine. He was so happy. He told me, oh, that way it will become easy. And then our Divine Mother says, but when you look, as you look coming out of the mental activity, and as you look at the experience which you have, you say to yourself, how to say this, how to explain this, then what is nearest, most accessible is this, into this something which we aspire to become. We put instinctively, spontaneously all that we wish to be, all that we conceive of as most wonderful, all that is the object of an intense aspiration, intense and ignorant, all that. And with all that you come nearer to the something, and essentially it is not by the thought that you have the contact. You have the contact through something identical in the being which wakes up by the intensity of the aspiration. And then for oneself, as soon as this contact, this fusion is obtained, even if only for a second, there is no longer any need to explain. It is something that imposes itself in an absolute way, and that is outside and beyond all explanation. And then our Divine Mother says, but in order to reach there, each one puts into it whatever guides them most easily. And when one has the experience, at the moment of this fusion, this joining, it becomes evident to the consciousness that only the identical can know the identical, and that therefore it is the proof that it is there. And then our Divine Mother points to the center of her heart. It is a proof that it is there, and it is by the intensity of aspiration that this awakens. When I received the question, says our Divine Mother, when I received the question, it was altogether as if the person was telling me, yes, all that is very good, but after all, what is this? That is the divine. Then I read his letter. There came a silence, a total silence of everything, and as though a single look gathering together everything and wanting to see. I remained in this way looking till the words came. Then I wrote, here is one answer. There could be 100, one as good as another. And at the same time, when there was this look towards the something that needed definition, there was a great silence up everywhere, and a great aspiration, a gesture as of a flame rising up, and all the forms which this aspiration took. It was very interesting. The story of the aspiration of earth towards the wonderful unknown which one wants to become. And everyone, whoever was destined to make the joining, in his simplicity, believes that the bridge has been followed is the only one. The result religions, philosophies, dogmas, credos, the battle. Seen as a whole, it is very interesting, very charming, with a smile that looks out. Oh, the smile that looks out. The smile as though it was saying, you make it so complicated and it could be so simple. To express it in a literary way, one might say, such complications for such a simple thing to be oneself. And then there is a silence. And then our Divine Mother says, and you, what do you think the divine is? For this, the sadhak says, I don't know. It is a question I never put to myself. And then our Divine Mother says, never do I. I have never put the question to myself, because as soon as there was a need to know, there was a spontaneously an answer. And an answer not with words which one debates, an answer something like that, a vibration. It is a thing almost constant now. And then our Divine Mother says, naturally men create difficulties. I believe they must like them very much, because for everything, for the least thing, there is always a world of difficulties. So one passes one's time saying, quiet, 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 be calm, and the body itself lives in the midst of difficulties. It also seems to like them, but all of a sudden the cells sing out their Om spontaneously, and then it is as though a child's joy in all these cells which say mother in a tone of wonder. Mother. Ah, yes, one is able to do that. One has the right to do that. It is touching. And the effect is immediate. This great vibration, peaceful, all-powerful. As for me, if I was not under the constant pressure of all the wills around, I would say, why do you want to know what the divine is? What does it matter to you? You have only to become it. But they do not understand a joke. I want to know what the divine is the question, but no, it is altogether useless. Ah, they answer you with a scandalized look. Ah, it isn't interesting. You have no need to know, you have to become it, says our Divine Mother. For them, I mean the vast intellectual majority, they cannot conceive that one can do or be something without knowing what it is. That also one might say, if one likes the joke, it is only when one does not know that one is most divine. And then our Divine Mother goes into contemplation. And then our Divine Mother says, for those who like definitions, there is another way of answering what is divine. A vastness, smiling and luminous, and it is there, is it not? It is there. After a few days, our Divine Mother says, I have something to add to what we have said the other day about the divine. Someone asked me, what is God? And it is about a text of Sri Aurobindo. It is here. Sri Aurobindo says, love leads us from suffering of division into the bliss of perfect union, but without losing that joy of the act of union, which is the soul's greatest discovery, and for which the life of the cosmos is a long preparation. Therefore, to approach God by love is to prepare oneself for the greatest possible spiritual fulfillment. It is in the context of the last phrase that I'm asked, what is God? Therefore, I took up the word God. It is the name man has given to all that surpasses him and dominates him, all that he cannot know but to which he submits. Instead of putting to all that surpasses him, one might put to that which surpasses him, because all that is debatable from the intellectual point of view. I mean, there is something which is indefinable, inexplicable, and this something man has always felt dominates him. It transcends all possible understanding and it dominates him. And so all the religions have given it a name. A name has called him, and then man has called him God. The English call him God, another language he is called in another way, but finally it is that. I do not give any definition purposefully because the feeling of all my life has been that it is a word, and a word behind which people have put many very undesirable things. This idea of God, for example, who wants to be unique, as they say, this God who wants to be the only one and all alone, that is the thing which had made me completely atheist. If one might say so, in my childhood, I do not accept a being who declared himself to be unique and all powerful, whoever he might be. Even if he was unique and all powerful, Mother laughs, he must not have the right to proclaim it. It was like this in my mind. I could give a discourse upon it for a full hour to say how in each religion they confronted it. In any case, I gave what seemed to me the most objective definition. And like the other day in What is the Divine, I tried to give the impression of the thing. Here I wanted to fight against the use of the word, which for me is hollow but dangerously hollow. I remember a verse from Savitri which is more powerful, which says in a line all that wonderfully. It says, the nameless that saw God born. That is, the bodiless namelessness that saw God born and tries to gain from the mortal's mind and soul a deathless body and a divine name. This is from volume 28 of page 40 from the book Savitri. These are the words of our Divine Mother.